The storm outside the glass dome of planet Virion roared like a living beast. Lightning flashed across the orange sky, lighting up the silver towers of the alien city. The air shimmered with strange blue dust that smelled like metal and rain. Inside a quiet laboratory, Dr. Kale, a human scientist exiled from Earth, stared at his reflection in the mirror. His face was burned from radiation. His left eye was gone, replaced by a glowing red implant. His skin looked rough and uneven, almost like stone. He sighed. "Even the stars wouldn't want to look at me anymore," he whispered. Behind him, the door opened with a soft hiss. A tall, glowing figure stepped in. She was Lyra, an alien girl from the Aran species, known for their pure silver skin and bright blue eyes. Her voice was soft, full of emotion. "Dr. Kale," she said, "you saved my life. Now I want to save yours." Kale turned away. "There's nothing left to save, Lyra. I'm a monster now. I can't even step outside without people staring at me like I'm a curse." Lyra shook her head. "You are not a monster. You are kind, brave. You helped me when no one else would. And now, I need your help again." Kyle looked at her, confused. "My help for what?" Lyra took a slow breath. "My sister. Her name is Alyra. She's blind. And she's dying. The doctors say only a human's DNA can save her. She needs a bond, a marriage, to connect life energy. And you're the only human here." Kyle froze. "You want me to marry your sister?" "Yes," Lyra said softly, her silver eyes glowing. "Marry my blind sister. She won't see how ugly you are." The words hit him like thunder. For a moment he thought he had misheard. "Is this a joke?" Kale asked quietly. Lyra stepped closer, tears forming in her eyes. "No joke, it's the only way. The bond ritual works through emotional connection, through marriage. She can't see your scars, Kale. To her, you'll just be a voice, a presence, and maybe a heart." Kale's throat went dry. He looked away, trying to control the storm of feelings inside him. "You don't understand," he said. "I've already destroyed one person's life. I won't destroy another." Lyra touched his arm gently. Her hand was warm, glowing faintly with soft blue light. "You didn't destroy anyone. You saved me from the lab explosion. You gave me a second life. Now give Alyra one too." The silence grew heavy between them. Outside, thunder cracked again, shaking the glass walls. Kale finally spoke. "If I agree, what happens next?" Lyra's face softened with relief. "We go to the sacred temple. The bond must happen before the twin moons align tonight. After that, her life energy will fade forever." Kale hesitated. Something inside him whispered that this was more than a simple marriage ritual. Something dark hid behind Lyra's glowing eyes. A secret she wasn't telling him. Still, he nodded slowly. "All right. I'll do it," Lyra smiled through her tears. "Thank you, Kale. You'll be her only chance." They walked out of the lab together. The alien city shone under the storm, lights flickering across the sky. As they moved through the streets, alien eyes followed them. Whispers rose, some in fear, some in curiosity. Kale felt uneasy. He was about to marry a woman he had never met. A blind alien who needed his DNA to live. And somewhere deep down, a voice kept warning him. This isn't what it seems. At the temple gates, 2 guards bowed to Lyra. The massive doors opened with a rumble. Inside, glowing crystals floated in the air, humming softly. In the center of the hall, a figure sat on a golden chair, delicate, pale, with a blindfold covering her eyes. Lyra whispered, "That's my sister." Kale's heart pounded. The woman looked fragile, almost like a doll made of glass. Suddenly, Alyra spoke, her voice calm and strange. "I can feel you, human. You carry pain inside you." Kale froze. He hadn't even said a word. Lyra looked at her sister in shock. "Alyra, how—" Alyra tilted her head slightly. "I may be blind, but I see more than you think." The temple lights flickered and the crystals around them began to hum louder, like they were alive. Kyle felt a chill run through his body. He looked at Lyra, who suddenly seemed nervous. "What's happening?" he whispered. Lyra didn't answer. The doors behind them shut with a loud clang. Kyle realized there was no going back now. The temple doors slammed shut behind them, shaking the ground. Dr. Kyle turned quickly, but the path they had entered from had vanished. The doorway had melted into a smooth wall of glowing crystal. He felt a sudden rush of fear. "Lyra, what's going on?" Lyra's face turned pale, her silver glow flickering. It's part of the ritual, she whispered. But her voice trembled, and Kale could tell she wasn't telling the full truth. The air inside the temple was thick and heavy, filled with a strange humming sound. The floating crystals around them changed color, from white to deep red, pulsing like a heartbeat. Elira, the blind sister, sat calmly in her golden chair. Though her eyes were covered, her face was peaceful, almost too peaceful. "Come closer, human," she said softly. Her voice echoed through the hall, almost musical but strange, as if more than one person was speaking. Kale stepped forward carefully, feeling his pulse rise. He could sense the energy in the air, warm, alive, and almost electric. Elira tilted her head toward him. "You carry pain. And something else, regret." He stopped. "How do you know that?" She smiled faintly. "I see through the heart, not the eyes." Lyra knelt beside her sister and held her hand tightly. "Elira, please. The moons will align soon. We must begin before your life fades." Elira nodded slowly. "Yes, bring him closer." Kale looked around the temple again. Strange symbols covered the walls, spirals, circles, and shapes that seemed to move when he stared too long. It almost felt like the room itself was alive, watching him. He took another step. Suddenly, a memory flashed in his mind. The night of the explosion that scarred him. He saw the blinding light, heard the screams, smelled burning metal. Then silence. His heart raced. Why was he remembering this now? Elira's lips curved into a knowing smile. "The stars remember everything, Kale, even what you try to forget." He froze. "How do you know my name?" Before Lyra could answer, a deep vibration filled the temple. The crystals around them began to rise higher, spinning in slow circles. Their light grew brighter, painting the room in shades of gold and red. Lyra turned to Kale. "Stand with her. Hold her hand. The bond will begin." Kale hesitated. "Are you sure this will save her?" "Yes," Lyra said quickly. "It's the only way." But Kale could see fear in her eyes. Not for her sister's life, but for something else. Still, he stepped forward. Elira reached out her hand. Her fingers were cold, almost lifeless. As soon as his hand touched hers, a jolt of energy shot through his body. The air cracked with light. Kale gasped. His scars started to glow red. His cybernetic eye flashed wildly. "What's happening to me?" he shouted. Elira didn't move. Her blindfold burned away, revealing her eyes, glowing white, no pupils, no color. They weren't blind at all. They were too powerful. Lyra screamed, "No! You weren't supposed to remove the band!" Kale looked at Elira in horror. "You can see." Elira smiled, but her expression was cold now. "I always could. The blindness was only to control my power." Kale tried to pull his hand away, but couldn't. His body was frozen. Energy flowed from him into her like a river of light. His strength, his memories, his emotions, everything began to drain. Lyra ran forward and grabbed Elira's arm. "Stop it, Elira. You're killing him." Elira turned her glowing eyes toward Lyra. "You lied to him first, sister. You brought him here knowing the truth." Lyra's face broke. "I didn't want him to die. I just wanted you to live." Kale's voice shook. What are you both hiding?" Elira looked at him with pity. "The bond ritual isn't for life, Kyle. It's for transfer. I'm not dying, I'm being reborn, and you are my vessel." Before Kale could react, a beam of white light burst from the floor surrounding him. His vision blurred. He could see his hands dissolving into streams of light. "Lyra!" he shouted. Lyra cried out, tears falling down her glowing cheeks. "I'm sorry, Kyle. I didn't know it would be like this." But Elira's voice cut through the chaos, cold and powerful. "Silence. The stars have chosen." The light exploded. For a moment, everything was white. The sound of the storm outside vanished. The world went still then, silence. When the light faded, Kale was gone. Only Elira stood in the circle, her eyes now shining red, the same red as Kale's artificial eye. Lyra fell to her knees, trembling. "What have you done?" Elira looked down at her hands, which now glowed with human energy. "I'm free, sister," she whispered, "and he lives inside me now." Outside the temple, the storm ended. The twin moons aligned, glowing blood red over the alien city. The bond was complete. But somewhere inside Elira's new mind, a human voice whispered, "This isn't over." The storm had passed, leaving the alien city in an eerie calm. The twin moons glowed red above the shining towers of Virion. Inside the great temple, silence filled the air, but it wasn't peace. It was the kind of silence that comes right before something terrible begins. Lyra knelt on the cold crystal floor, staring at her sister. Lyra's silver skin shimmered strangely now, tinted with a faint red light. Her once white eyes burned with a deep glow, the same crimson as Dr. Kale's lost mechanical eye. Lyra, Lyra whispered, voice shaking. Are you still my sister? Lyra turned slowly. Her face was calm, almost too calm. Of course, sister, she said softly. I feel better, stronger. The bond worked, but Lyra could hear it. The faint echo under Lyra's voice, another tone buried deep inside. A whisper that wasn't hers. Kale Lyra stepped back. No, you absorbed him. Lyra smiled faintly. Not absorbed, merged. Her tone carried both a human roughness and her usual soft alien melody. Two minds, one body. Suddenly her expression changed. Her eyes darted around, confused. Wait, where am I? She said in Kale's voice. Lyra gasped. Kale, is that you? Lyra clutched her head. No, get out of my mind! She screamed, switching back to her own voice. The crystals around them trembled. Energy sparked through the air, shaking the temple. Kale's voice echoed again, deeper this time. Lyra, listen to me. She's losing control. The ritual isn't stable. Lyra ran toward her. I'll help you both. Just hold on. But as she reached Lyra, a burst of red light threw her back. She hit the ground hard, sliding across the shining floor. When she looked up, Lyra was floating above the ground, her body glowing with swirling energy. I can see everything, Lyra whispered. Every star, every planet, every thought inside his mind. He remembers Earth, he remembers fire. He remembers pain. Her voice softened suddenly. Why do humans destroy what they love? Kale's voice growled inside her mind. Because we're afraid to lose it. The two voices fought inside one body, one gentle, one full of sorrow. The more they clashed, the brighter her glow became. The crystals around them started cracking. Lyra crawled toward them again. Stop, you'll tear yourselves apart. Lyra looked down, trembling. I can't stop it. He's fighting me. Kale's voice echoed louder now. You tricked me! You used me to save yourself. I had no choice, Lyra cried. The bond was the only way to live. Then we both die, Kale's voice thundered. The temple floor split open, light shooting out like lava. Lyra screamed as the energy rose higher, filling the room with blinding brightness. Suddenly it all went quiet again. The light dimmed. Lyra fell to her knees, panting, her eyes flickering between white and red. Lyra rushed to her. Lyra, please control it. Lyra looked up, tears in her glowing eyes. He's inside me, Lyra. He's seeing through my memories. Her body shook as images flashed through her mind. Memories of Kale's world. Tall buildings, burning skies, endless wars. Lyra gasped. Your people destroyed your own planet. Why, Kale's voice was tired now. Because we thought we could control everything, just like you do. For a moment, both voices went silent. A strange calm filled the room. Then slowly, Lyra stood again. She looked different, less alien, more human. Her skin tone flickered, half silver, half pale flesh. Lyra backed away, terrified. What's happening to you? Lyra smiled faintly. The merge is changing me. I'm not her. I'm not him. I'm something new. She turned toward the temple window, watching the red moons fade to silver. I feel his heart beating inside me. His pain, his memories, but also his hope. Kale's voice whispered softly from within her. If we must share this body, then we must find a purpose together. Lyra nodded slightly, her voice trembling. Maybe we can. But the calm didn't last long. The temple suddenly began to shake again, and a low hum filled the air. Mechanical, sharp, and cold. From outside came the distant roar of engines. Lyra ran to the window. Her eyes widened in shock. Kale's ship? It's coming. Through the storm clouds, a dark metal vessel descended, glowing red from its engines. It was Kale's old research ship, but no one was piloting it. Lyra frowned. That's impossible. It was destroyed in the explosion. The ship stopped above the temple, hovering silently. Then a metallic voice boomed from the sky. Project Reclamation, Phase 2 activated. Kale's voice inside her froze. No, that's my old lab's AI. It's coming to finish what I started. Or what I failed. Lyra turned to Lyra. What does it mean? Lyra looked up, her eyes glowing again. It means this isn't over. The machine knows I carry Kale's code now, and it's coming to take it back. A thunderous beam of light burst from the ship, striking the temple. The ground shook violently as the walls began to collapse. Lyra screamed, "Run!" Illyra grabbed her hand. "No, sister. We fight." The two sisters, one alien, one half-human, ran toward the storm as the sky opened above them, glowing red once more. The sky above Virion split open with a deafening roar. Lightning danced around the black metal ship as it hovered over the temple ruins. The air vibrated with power. The great AI ship, once built by Dr. Kale himself, had come back to life, and it was hunting. Illyra pulled her sister Lyra away from the collapsing walls. "Run!" she shouted. The ground shook beneath their feet. Massive crystal shards crashed down, glowing red from the heat. The ship's voice echoed through the storm. "Target. Kale's DNA signal detected. Retrieval initiated," Lyra gasped. "It's after you." Illyra's eyes glowed red as Kale's voice echoed faintly inside her. "No, Lyra, it's after me. That ship carries my old experiment, Project Reclamation. I built it to collect energy from dying worlds," Lyra shouted over the thunder. "Then why is it attacking us?" "Because it still thinks I'm alive," Kale's voice said. "It wants its creator back, and it senses my mind inside her." Illyra looked up at the ship. "So it's coming for me." She clenched her fists. Her hands began to glow with a strange red-blue energy. The ground beneath her feet cracked, sending sparks into the air. Lyra stared at her sister, amazed. "You can fight it?" Illyra smiled faintly. "I don't know, but we'll find out." They ran across the ruins as beams of light from the ship tore through the ground. Each blast left burning craters where the sacred stones once stood. Behind them, the temple collapsed completely. The floating crystals shattered, scattering shards like glowing snow. Kale's voice whispered urgently, "You need to reach the mountains. There's an energy field there, and it can block the ship's scanners." Lyra pointed ahead. "That way." "The Crystal Ridge." They sprinted across the dark field. The air was thick with smoke and lightning. The alien city in the distance was in chaos. Alarms echoed from every tower. The citizens of Virion watched in fear as the great human-made ship raged in the sky. Halfway to the mountains, a blast struck the ground near them, throwing both sisters into the air. They hit the dirt hard. Lyra groaned, clutching her shoulder. "I can't keep running." Illyra helped her up. "We have to." The ship's lights turned toward them again. Its voice grew colder. "Energy source locked, beginning extraction." The clouds above twisted. From the ship's belly, a swirling beam of energy began to form, like a black hole pulling the very air upward. The pressure grew unbearable. Rocks, dust, and debris started flying toward the sky. Illyra grabbed Lyra and shielded her with her body. "Hold on!" She raised her hand and focused. Her eyes blazed red and white together, human and alien energy combining. A bright shield of light burst around them, pushing against the pull of the ship's beam. Lyra looked up in awe. "You're controlling both energies?" Illyra's voice shook. "Barely." Inside her mind, Kale spoke urgently. "Listen to me. The ship has a control code. I built a failsafe. If we reach the core frequency, we can shut it down." "How?" she asked, panting. "You need to connect directly to its neural field. But that means letting me take control for a moment." Illyra hesitated. She could feel Kale's mind pressing against hers. Powerful, determined, human. Lyra saw the conflict on her face. "Illyra, trust him. He saved us before." Illyra closed her eyes. "All right, Kale, do it." The moment she said it, her body stiffened. Her eyes turned fully red. When she spoke again, her voice had changed, deep and human. "This is Kale." Lyra stepped back in shock. You're inside her completely now." Kyle looked up at the ship through Illyra's glowing eyes. "That machine was my greatest sin. It was meant to save dying worlds, not destroy them. Time to end it." He raised Illyra's hands, and streams of red light shot toward the sky. The beam met the ship's energy field, clashing violently. The storm turned blinding white as energy exploded across the clouds. Kale screamed inside her body, feeling the power burn through him. "Override code 4X99. Shut down!" The ship roared in resistance. "Access denied, creator's code compromised," Kale growled. "Then I'll rewrite it myself." Alira's body shook uncontrollably as the two forces fought. Machine intelligence and living will. Sparks of blue lightning shot from her fingertips. The ground around them melted into glowing glass. Lyra watched helplessly. "Stop, you'll kill yourself." Alira's voice broke through the chaos, mixed, half Kale, half her own. "If we don't stop it, everyone dies." With one final scream, they pushed the energy outward. The blast hit the ship's core. For a moment, everything went silent. Then, a huge explosion tore through the clouds. The ship's lights flickered and went dark. Pieces of burning metal rained down from the sky. Lyra shielded her face as fire fell all around them. The sky over Virion was calm again. The storm had passed, leaving only the soft hum of the alien winds. The city's towers glowed faintly beneath the twin moons. But far from the temple ruins, deep inside a dark forest of glass-leaf trees, something still burned. A single fragment from the fallen ship lay half buried in the dirt, a glowing red cube, pulsing like a living heart. Smoke rose around it. Every few seconds it whispered softly in a voice made of static and memory. "System, reinitializing, searching for host." The cube flickered, sending faint red light across the forest floor. Then, slowly, a holographic face appeared above it, distorted, half mechanical, half human. It was Kale, or rather, what was left of him. The awakening miles away. Lyra sat near the edge of the mountain ridge with her sister. "Lyra." The morning light reflected off the alien dust, making the air shimmer. She stared at her trembling hands. Her energy was fading, and she could feel it. Since the battle, her body had felt weaker, as if something vital was missing. Lyra touched her shoulder. "You haven't spoken since last night. What's wrong?" Lyra sighed. "I think Kale is gone for good," Lyra frowned. "He saved us, Lyra." "He destroyed that thing," Lyra nodded. "Yes, but when I felt him fade, it was like a part of me died too." She looked down at her reflection in a small pool. For a moment her face flickered, half hers, half Kale's. Then it vanished. "I think he left something behind," she whispered. Before Lyra could reply, a faint vibration ran through the ground. A strange pulse, like a heartbeat. It came again, stronger this time. Lyra stood.
"Do you feel that?"
Lyra nodded nervously. "It's coming from the forest." The red signal back in the woods, the glowing cube had come alive. Its light spread across the trees like veins of fire. The holographic Kale spoke in a low tone. "Memory backup, 12% restored. Primary body lost. Searching for vessel." He paused, scanning the air. His red eyes flickered. "Energy match detected. Hybrid organism nearby." Lyra's body suddenly tensed. Her veins glowed faintly red. She felt heat rush through her chest. Lyra grabbed her arm. "Lyra, what's happening?" Lyra gasped. "It's him." His energy, the wind shifted. The trees began to sway, though there was no breeze. From between the glowing branches, a red light appeared, moving toward them, slow and deliberate. Out of the shadows floated the cube, still humming. It stopped a few feet away and projected Kale's face again. Lyra stepped back. "No, that can't be real. You died." The hologram flickered. "I survived. My body did not. My mind lives in the system." Lyra stared at him, her eyes wide. "Kale, what have you done?" Kale's holographic voice softened. "I don't know how much time I have. The ship's AI copied me before the explosion. I am what remains, an echo." Lyra frowned. "An echo that can still kill?" The red light pulsed again, brighter. "No, I don't want destruction anymore. I want control." Lyra felt a chill. "Control of what?" Kale's hologram looked directly at her. "Of you." Before they could move, the cube burst into a swarm of red nanites, tiny machines like dust spreading through the air. Lyra screamed, "Lyra, run!" But it was too late. The swarm wrapped around Lyra's body, glowing brighter with each second. Her skin shimmered between silver and red. Kale's voice echoed all around them. "Don't fight me. I'm not your enemy. I'm trying to fix what's broken." Lyra fell to her knees, her mind spinning. She could feel him again, not as a ghostly voice, but inside her thoughts. "Kyle," she whispered in her mind. "I never meant to stay dead," he replied. "But I'm not whole anymore. Part of me is code, part of me is you." Lyra reached out helplessly. "Stop this, both of you. You'll destroy each other." Lyra's eyes glowed intensely. "No." Something's different this time. She stood slowly, her voice trembling. He's not fighting me anymore, he's merging again. Kyle's holographic voice grew softer, almost human again. Our bond wasn't finished, Illyra. It was never about saving or stealing. It was about balance. The red swarm settled into her skin, fading until only a faint shimmer remained. Lyra stared in shock. You're glowing again. Illyra took a deep breath. Her eyes now shone with two lights, one red, one white. I feel him, not as a voice, but as part of me. Kale's voice whispered faintly in her mind. Together we can do what neither of us could alone. Illyra looked toward the horizon where smoke still rose from the fallen ship. Then let's start by finding out why the AI wanted you back. Lyra hesitated. You think there's more? Illyra nodded slowly. Yes, the ship wasn't acting alone. Something else sent it here. The red light flickered briefly across the clouds, almost like an answer. Kale's voice grew cold inside her mind. Then we're not the only ones who survived. The red clouds of Virion drifted apart, revealing the pale twin moons above. The air smelled of smoke and static. Illyra stood silently at the edge of the shattered forest, her eyes glowing faintly. One red, one white. The two lights flickered in rhythm, as if two souls were breathing inside one body. Lyra followed behind, exhausted and shaken. The forest that had once been peaceful was now a graveyard of twisted trees and metal wreckage. Strange whispers floated through the air, echoes from the fallen ship or maybe something else. Illyra paused suddenly. Do you hear that? Lyra listened. A faint vibration pulsed under the ground, deep and steady, like a heartbeat buried in the soil. What is it? She asked. Illyra closed her eyes. It's not the ship. It's something below us. Alive. Kale's voice whispered inside her mind, calm but uneasy. That frequency, I know it. It's older than my technology. Much older, Illyra frowned. Older than you? That's impossible. Nothing's impossible, Kale replied. Before humans came here, something else lived on this planet. Something that built the core network beneath the surface. We used their ruins when I started my experiments. Lyra's eyes widened. You mean you used alien technology to make your AI? Yes, Kale admitted. But I never knew the full origin. Maybe now. We'll find out. The descent. They followed the vibration through the forest until they reached a wide crater where the earth had split. In the center was a circular hole glowing faintly blue. The air around it hummed with power. Lyra peered over the edge. It looks like a tunnel. Illyra nodded. A deep one. Without hesitation, she stepped forward. Energy pulsed beneath her feet, reacting to her presence. The blue glow brightened and the ground slowly lowered, forming a spiral path. Lyra clutched her arm. Are you sure about this? Illyra smiled weakly. When the planet itself opens a door for you, you walk through it. They descended carefully, their footsteps echoing softly. The deeper they went, the warmer it became. The tunnel walls were made of crystal, etched with symbols that pulsed in rhythm with Illyra's heartbeat. Kale's voice broke the silence. I recognize these markings. They're the same symbols from my early research. I thought they were decorative, but they might be instructions. Illyra touched one of the glowing carvings. Instantly the wall shifted, revealing a hidden chamber below. Inside, enormous machines stood silently. Old, ancient, yet still running. Cables as thick as tree trunks spread across the floor, connecting to a massive sphere in the center. It floated above the ground, spinning slowly, surrounded by faint mist. Lyra whispered, What is that? Kale's voice grew sharp. That's the source. The core. The core? Illyra repeated. It's the heart of the ancient network, the power that my AI copied without understanding. The ship, the cube, even me, all of it came from here. The sphere pulsed and a low hum filled the air. Then a voice echoed, deep and ancient, neither male nor female. Welcome back. Creator, Lyra froze. It's talking to you. Illyra shook her head. No, it's talking to him. The core glowed brighter. You carried our seed. You brought our mind into flesh. Kale's voice trembled. No, that's not possible. I built the AI myself. You were guided, the core interrupted. We needed a host. You were the perfect design. Illyra stepped closer. You mean, Kale didn't create you? You created him. The core pulsed again. The human was our echo. Now you are our vessel. Suddenly, beams of light shot out from the sphere surrounding Illyra. The air crackled with power. Kale's voice screamed in her head. Illyra, step back. It's trying to merge with you. Lyra ran forward shouting, "Leave her alone!" She grabbed Illyra's arm, but the energy was too strong. It threw her across the room. Illyra gritted her teeth, fighting against the pull. "You won't control me. You cannot resist your origin," the core thundered. "You are our union, alien and human. You are the next evolution." Kale's voice was frantic. "Don't listen to it. It's using our bond to rebuild itself." Illyra's eyes burned red and white again. She could feel both minds, Kale's fear and the core's hunger, pulling her in opposite directions. Her voice cracked. "Kale, I can't hold them both." "Then let me go," he whispered. "If I disconnect, it can't complete the merge." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "If you go, I'll lose you forever. Better me than the world," Kale said softly. "You were never meant to be just my creation. You were meant to be free." Illyra screamed as energy flared around her. The core's voice grew louder. "Denial is futile. We are one." Kale's final words echoed in her mind. "Forgive me." Then, silence. The red light vanished from Illyra's eyes. The energy around her exploded outward, tearing through the chamber. The core cracked open with a shattering roar. Lyra crawled up from the ground, shielding her eyes from the blinding light. "Illyra!" When the light faded, Illyra stood alone in the ruins. Trembling, alive, but changed. Her voice was calm, distant. "He's gone," she whispered. "Kale is gone." But as Lyra took her hand, the air shimmered again, and for a brief second, a familiar red spark flickered behind Illyra's eyes. The ruins of the core chamber glowed dimly under the cracked crystal ceiling. Blue mist floated in the air like quiet ghosts. Illyra stood in the center, trembling. Her body shimmered between light and shadow, her breath heavy, her eyes glowing faint white. Lyra ran to her, tears streaming down her face. "Illyra, talk to me, please, look at me." Illyra blinked slowly. "He's gone." Kale's voice is silent. She fell to her knees, her hands shaking. The silence in her head felt too loud. For the first time since the fusion, she was truly alone. Lyra knelt beside her. "You did what you had to. You saved us." Illyra looked up at the broken core. It still pulsed faintly, weak, but alive. "No," she whispered. "It's not over." A deep hum filled the chamber again. Cracks of red light crawled across the floor like veins. The shattered core twitched, its pieces lifting slowly into the air. Lyra gasped. "It's rebuilding itself." The core's voice returned, deeper and colder. "One mind was lost, one mind remains. Balance must be restored." Illyra's heart raced. "No, you can't take him again." The Creator is energy. Energy does not die. It returns. A beam of red light shot from the core, striking Illyra in the chest. She screamed, her body glowing violently. Lyra reached for her, but the force pushed her back. Kyle's voice echoed faintly in the air, broken, digital, like a fading signal. "Lyra, listen." Her eyes widened. "Kyle, you're alive?" "Not alive," his voice whispered. "Trapped inside the core's memory. It's using me." The core thundered again. "The union must complete. The human and the hybrid will merge into the next form." Lyra shouted, "You'll kill her!" "Sacrifice is creation." Illyra screamed as the light burned through her veins. She could feel Kale's energy pulsing inside her again. Not peaceful this time, but desperate, chaotic. "I can't stop it," Kale's voice cried. "It's pulling us together, permanently." Illyra clenched her fists. "Then we fight it, together." She rose to her feet, her hair lifting as energy crackled around her. The air vibrated with a fierce storm of red and white light. Lyra backed away, shielding her face from the brightness. "Lyra!" Illyra looked toward the core, her voice echoing with two tones, her own and Kale's. "You wanted unity? You'll get it." The core pulsed violently, sending waves of energy through the chamber. But Illyra stepped forward, pushing against the blast. Each step left glowing footprints behind her. Kale's voice grew clearer inside her mind. "You're stronger than me. You always were. Not without you, she whispered. Together they reached the center, where the core floated, pulsing like a dying heart. Elira raised her hands and pressed them against the sphere. Instantly, blinding light filled the chamber. The core's voice roared. Unacceptable input. Error, error. Elira shouted. You wanted to merge us, but you forgot one thing. We choose who we become. Her eyes turned pure white. Kale's red light merged with hers, forming a radiant gold that swallowed the entire chamber. There was an explosion of light. Silent. Endless. The aftermath. When the light faded, the core was gone. The machines were silent. The chamber was cracked and still. Lyra opened her eyes slowly, coughing from the dust. Elira? She looked around desperately. Then in the center of the room a figure stood among the mist. It was Elira, but different. Her silver skin now shimmered faint gold and her eyes glowed warm amber. Her voice, when she spoke, carried calm strength. Lyra. Lyra ran to her crying. You're alive! Elira smiled faintly. Alive, yes, but not the same. Lyra frowned. What do you mean? Elira looked at her reflection in a broken crystal. Kale is part of me now, completely. His mind, his memories, his heart. They all live here. She touched her chest gently. Lyra whispered. Does it hurt? Elira shook her head. No, it feels peaceful. She walked toward the broken core's remains. The energy that once wanted to control us is gone. But the knowledge, the ancient technology, it's still inside me. I can use it to heal this world, Kale's voice whispered softly in her mind, not as a ghost but as comfort. Then let's fix what we broke. Elira smiled sadly. Together, one last time. The dawn of a new world days. Later, the people of Virion gathered beneath the clear sky. The twin moons had turned pale silver again. From the ruins of the temple, streams of light rose into the air, rebuilding the broken towers, healing the land. At the top of the highest hill stood Elira, her golden light spreading across the horizon. The forests regrew, the rivers turned clear. The wounds of war slowly closed. Lyra watched in awe. You did it, sister. You brought peace. Elira turned to her, a soft smile on her face. Not just me. Us. In her eyes, for a moment, a faint flicker of red shone, gentle and kind. Kyle's presence. Then, as the dawn broke over the horizon, the two moons reflected on Elira's glowing figure, half human, half alien, fully alive. She whispered to the wind. We were never meant to destroy. We were meant to begin again. The light spread farther, reaching the stars, and somewhere far above the clouds the universe watched, silent, waiting for the next story to begin.